What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Toshi today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And here we are, sitting at about 0.0005356 right there. Looking like we are at an area where we found support before. A little bit below this area, but this could be a good zone to find support. Overall, it kind of looks like a triple bottom of sorts. Hit your oversold zone on the 4-hour time frame, an area that you've been finding support at too, inevitably working your way lower. But I think this is the low. I really do think this is the low, right? We didn't get it right on this last one. I think this is definitely it. I'm sure I'm not the only person who was interpreting that we would move up higher. um, I did put out a market wide kind of red alert video right before we had this drop here, so hopefully some of you guys saw that. But it does look like you have this nice kind of rounding bottom. It looks like it's rounding out, so that's good, right? With each move down, the slope is decreasing. So that's a signal to me, at least, that you are looking to turn around and probably grow from here. When you do grow, whenever you do move up, I fully suspect that you will see prices above this high. So let's do that right now. Actually, let's talk about that, right? So from this high to low here, assuming this is the low, unless of course you go a little bit lower, in which case these fibs, they might be off just a little bit. But assuming that's the low, and it probably is, if you move all the way back up to that high, that's at about a 4.6x, okay? With stops along the way at the 382, prior area of resistance here, with stops along the way at the golden ratio, prior areas of resistance here, and then once you're up above the 886, it's time to go to new all-time highs. I fully suspect that you will fully retrace this move and see extensions by the end of March, if not certainly early April, mid-April, something like that. I'm expecting Toshi to do something overall on the lines of like a 7 to maybe a 12, 13x, something like that over the next 4 to 6 weeks, maybe more weeks than that. But and of course, this target could be more reserved for April, May, June kind of stuff. But I think by the end of March, if not early April, you would at least be here at about 0.00389, something on the lines of a 7x, and likely even above that is what I think is going to happen. So you're going to see a very explosive move, much like this, happening very soon, is what my thoughts are. If we're looking at the RSI here, looking at the charts, I think it would be a good look. It wouldn't be a bad thing at all if you saw a 4-hour time frame close below this low here. If it closed below 0.0005227, if you could go just a little bit below there, you would have some bullish divergence on your 4-hour time frame. You'd close lower, you'd have a lower closing low, and then have a higher low on your RSI. A move down like that might even encourage a move down to the oversold zone. Getting bullish divergence while bouncing off the oversold zone, that's iconic, and that normally does set you up for some rather robust movements afterwards. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but even though I do think it's going to go just a little bit lower, I think this is a great area to buy. If you're looking to DCA, this is a great area to start doing that. And I say DCA, I mean maybe like DCA hourly. Don't DCA daily or weekly, because it's probably going to take off here over the coming days, and especially over the coming weeks. 1-hour time frame looks like it's pointed down, so yeah, I like that. If you go lower than what I'm thinking, you could go a little bit lower, right? If that's not the low, let's assume that's not the low. If it's not the low, then maybe you go to 0.0047, or sorry, 3047 to 30444, maybe somewhere in that area, but nothing dramatically lower, right? Just a little bit, lower if it were to happen. Certainly something around this, and then that wouldn't change the targets too much for what we have as far as expectation goes. In fact, it only increases the percentage growth, because you'd be growing, you'd be from a lower price having to grow up to the same prices we're looking for. It's overall more growth. So if we are to see new highs, at least, right? And I fully expect that from this you will see new all-time highs. I think the reason why, and I don't think, I know the reason why you're selling off is because you had a listing on Coinbase. Okay, Coinbase listed you, so you're selling off. You had a listing, didn't you have a listing on, I mean, probably on a bunch of different exchanges, right? Coinbase, Mexi, KuCoin, Kraken, all of them. You have all these exchange listings happening at the same time. That's going to create very immense sell pressure. 80% of a drop in a month's time sounds about right to me, man. I think you've done it. If you go lower from here, again, just a little bit lower is what I'd expect. I don't think you're going to see a 90% drop or anything like that overall. I think you're very much at the low points here. If we look at this thing on a daily time frame, on the RSI, you're a little bit lower than the 40, whatever. There's not enough historical data really to go off of that, so it's nothing really too crazy in my opinion. I want to look at the ribbon and just see on a 4-hour basis, maybe. Very much trending down. Wow, that's crazy. That's very powerful to the downside. So what you need to see if you're to validate anything that this is a low area is you need to see first things like this. You need to get above the ribbon. So a target above 0.00030625. I think that's a good goal to have. Once you can do that, we can start getting excited that you have found your low. I think you can get excited now. We probably have found a low anyways, but getting above there validates it on the perspective of the charts itself. 306251. But right there, that could just be another lower high. So beyond that, what you need to do to validate this is probably get above this high, right? It's starting to get exciting. It's starting to look like we have found our low, and we can get excited about crossing this ribbon bullishly instead of being bearishly driven. But it's really time to get excited, I think, once you take out this high, because at that point, you're no longer having lower highs, you're having higher highs, and you can get set up then to find a higher low potentially on this trend line that you're rejecting, something like that. And I would expect something like that to happen. I think that, from a high to a low here, relatively speaking, assuming that's the low. Yeah, look at that. Nice golden ratio move all the way up here. And then a pullback down to the 0.5382. Very common maneuver to make. And then if we connect the dots here, right, we connect this line. Look at that. That'd be as if you're breaking out of this downtrend, back testing it for support, and then continuing. Also a very classic thing to do. So on this notion alone, the 4-hour time frame, I wouldn't be surprised at all if even by the end of the month, let alone the first couple days of March. Literally by the end of the month, you guys, it's the 26th now. We have only a couple hours left, or like 7 hours left in this day. You could be up about 307 to 3075, somewhere in that area, or higher. It could definitely be the option, right? That could happen over the next 2 days. So whenever I say it's a good time to buy, I'm not just saying that, right? On an hourly basis, maybe it goes down just a little bit more, but I think it's probably a good time to buy over the next coming days, if not certainly within the next week. I think you're going to be up dramatically higher. These prices won't be here forever. And then, yeah, then we're moving on up from there. If we look at, let me refresh, maybe not that. Let's do this. Toshi USD. Is it on here? Oh, okay, this is the one I wanted, actually. Okay, we'll do that. Toshi USD. Let's get it on the 1-hour time frame. Cool, we've got a regression signal here, likely signaling a bottom. After all, we had 2 of them down here, and that did promote a move up. Regression signal here promoted a move down. Same thing here. So I say regression, I mean reversion. Same thing, whatever. Bounced, nice. You bounced right off of your invalidation zone, nice. So holding up, this makes me think actually that you're not going to go lower, and you might just go higher, adding more urgency to the need to buy if you're looking to accumulate here. And if you go below this level, that doesn't diminish the urgency at all, right? It's even a better opportunity to buy there. But this is actually making me think that you do continue to go higher. Let's see, if you can build some bullish momentum, especially. 42 minutes left. If this hour can close green, I think that would negate any bearish effects and that you would continue higher. I don't know, guys. 4-hour time frame, you got the reversion there as well. Definitely looking like it's right on point, right? Something around this area, if not this exact price, right? You're going to move up higher soon. It doesn't, just because you have a reversion doesn't mean it's perfect, right? The top happened beforehand here, or here doesn't mean it's perfect. The bottom happened beforehand, So sometimes they happen afterwards. So it's not a perfect indicator, but I like seeing this coming into confluence with what my thoughts are. So that's all I got for you guys. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I fully expect that Toshi will see dramatically higher targets, not just over the coming weeks, not just over the coming months, but by the end of the cycle, by the end of the year, you guys, you're at a 219, let's call it a $220 million market cap now. A $22 billion market cap is not a small accomplishment, or it's no small quest to set forth on, right? It's a lot. $22 billion is a lot, but it's a very attainable market cap to have. And I love saying this, especially when it comes to Toshi, because Shiba Inu last cycle, it was its first cycle ever. And it literally saw an $80 billion market cap in its first cycle, right? This thing, 22 billion. The reason why I'm talking about 22 billion is that's all it would take. I say that's all it would take. That's not a small task at all, but 22 billion is all it would take to see a 100x in this coin. Okay. Not only is 22 billion possible, but Shiba saw 80 billion last cycle. 44 billion is possible. 66 billion, 88 billion might be possible for Toshi. Who knows? Higher inflation, the dollar's worth less. Maybe instead of an $80 billion market cap, we can move that up, right, for a minimum moonshot standard. I don't know. I say minimum. That might be a maximum. But I'm just saying if 100x is possible with this thing, certainly even as much as a 400x could be possible, let alone a 2 or 300x. This thing has a lot of potential, especially down at these lows here. After this movement up, it'll still have a lot of potential, but then you're looking at, instead of 100x, multi-100x, you might be looking at a 10x, a 30x, a 50x, right? So get it while the getting's good. Get it while, you know, you're down here, and then by the time it's up here, everybody's like, oh, the only people involved are the VCs and the people who have a lot of money, you know, it's just a scam coin like that. And you can be one of those people because you bought a lot of it down here, right? You can be one of those people who can dump on the masses if you buy now. But if not, you'll probably be one of the people that are dumped on. I don't know. That's I don't know why it just went so dark there, guys. Hopefully nobody gets dumped on unless you're into that kind of thing. I don't know. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you all for being here. Bye bye.